Should you build Airfix's Fokker Eindecker in 1/72 scale? Yes. So before I say anything else, pause this video and go buy this kit. Seriously, this is a fun model. I'm not sure if Airfix is actively producing this version right now, but you can still get it from most hobby stores online or brick and mortar. And I really hope that Airfix releases another issue of this. Like, it would be really cool to build Oswald Bulka's plane. Even Manfred von Richthofen flew an Eindecker, so it'd be pretty awesome. Anyway, Airfix's model has a simple construction and you can make it really easy with a basic build. Or you can follow the easy rigging instructions for a more challenging endeavor. But if you want to go even further, you can also add photo etch, and there are a couple of options for upgrades. I went with Tom's Modelworks generic World War I German cockpit and World War I German guns upgrade kits. I actually took it a tiny bit further and added stretch sprue and copper wire to some parts to make the joystick more realistic and add a tiny bit of detail to the cockpit. Seriously though, I've built two of these. One is an out of the box and one I'm showing here with upgrades. And either way, it was a real joy. There is no flash, the parts fit very well with very little sanding necessary. The detail may be a little overlarge to be realistic. The stitching, for example, probably wouldn't be that big in a plane 72 times larger than this, but I think it's nice anyway because it shows the impressions clearly. And it lets you see that the thing was actually sewn together. If there's one drawback, it's that the model is very delicate. You may find yourself accidentally breaking off tiny little pieces. Even the rear stabilizers are only held on with maybe a millimeter of plastic, so be very careful. One other thing that is cool, but might actually be an issue for some, is that there is only one paint scheme for one specific pilot. For the one I'm showing here, it's Ernst Udet. And honestly, I think that Ernst Udet is pretty interesting, and he was certainly a very excellent pilot in World War I with 62 victories in his lifetime. But he was also much later associated with the Luftwaffe, even if he wasn't incredibly cozy with the German leadership at that time. So I can understand if you're not too keen on building this plane, but then again, other companies like Edward, for example, doubled down on him and made a whole 3-model gift set dedicated to him, including his plane named after his sweetheart. What a simp. Nonetheless, this makes a fun and historically important model to have. Of course, the Eindecker is hugely important in aviation history as the first purpose-built fighter, and it certainly scared the daylights out of the British, maybe the French too, and started the whole Fokker scourge business. Maybe more on that later. And one last thing before I finish. I normally ask you to leave a like if you liked this, and I have a habit of asking you to leave me a dislike if you didn't like what I saw, but when you do, to also let me know why so I can do better. And I stick by that. But I've been noticing a trend regarding my less than friendly viewers' constructive criticism. I just want to add that I'm not actually experienced with social media, like, at all. Like, I stopped doing Facebook 10 years ago. So I often won't understand things, like, for example, the obligatory casual rudeness with which people treat one another behind the veil of anonymity. I also tend to take things at face value, so if you give me a comment like this, then I'm going to read it like, "Great job on the wing frame shining through." But luckily, this fellow later explained that he actually meant, "Great job on the wing frame shining through." Now, don't get me wrong, you can take the piss out of me if you want. I've got thick skin, and come on, I'm a college professor. I get at least one scathing review from a disgruntled student each year, so I'm used to it. I actually take mean-spirited comments seriously because I've learned that I can actually often glean important information from them despite their nastiness. For example, the insultingly sarcastic guy I just told you about gave me some good ideas for pre-shading. Another fellow actually gave me some good tips for decals, even if he did it rather abusively. So what I would ask is that if you want to be a prick, Just let me know so I don't accidentally take your comment in a positive light. Just don't expect me to play along, though. My mother taught me to be polite and respectful, even to jackasses. So at least I'll play nice. Moreover, the whole reason I started this channel was because I really enjoy building scale models, and I wanted to share that joy with all of you. And I don't think any angry little sourpusses are going to ruin that for me. Plus, most everyone is really cool and supportive in this community, so way to go to the vast preponderance of you. So with that said, go buy a Fokker Eindecker from Airfix. You can thank me later. Don't forget to subscribe, and I hope to see you again soon.